All right, y'all. Good morning. Good morning. It's Falcons Daily on a Monday. I'm CG, Craig Green, your host, and I appreciate all of y'all checking us out here today. We are entering the final week of the preseason as the Falcons have one more game left against the Dallas Cowboys. It's Friday night, 8 p.m. At AT&T Stadium. So all the open practices are over as far as training camp goes. Camp will be breaking pretty soon, and we're still looking at some topics of importance to the Falcons. One of those topics right now that we are looking at is about Darnell Mooney. Mooney injured himself, if you remember, the first day of the open practices, diving for a ball from Penn and dove out for it, stretched out, couldn't make the catch, but injured his shoulder in the process, and he's been out ever since. Mooney still remains to be a question mark for Week 1 against the Buccaneers. They're saying he's trending up, and he should be hopefully ready to go, but there's been no indication of that, and I think some of that could be gamesmanship by the Falcons. Some of it could be just uncertainty as well. So, time will tell. We don't know. Only they know. But again, just the way they're talking about it, it's kind of like, in a way, it feels like they're talking out of both sides of their mouth. Michael Penix feels like, he said, yeah, I feel like he should be ready for Week 1, but he also acknowledged that he's not a doctor. And Raheem Morris, not so committal, but at the same time confident about his return. So, in his absence, hopefully we'll see a DJ Shark step up, a veteran guy. And if Mooney is still not out there Week 1, hopefully we'll get a committee of guys to pick up that wide receiver 2 duties. Again, they will be focusing hard on Drake London if Mooney's not out there. So it's going to take another guy out there to take some of the pressure off of Drake and maybe free him up for some one-on-ones or even get that zone defense to back off a little bit. So, we'll keep an eye on Darnell Mooney, hope for the best, and hopefully we'll see him out there Week 1 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, in terms of the other wide receivers on the team, we're looking at some of those young guys who've had some roles in these preseason games. Guys such as Chris Blair, Dylan Drummond. We're also looking at players such as Nick Nash, guys like that. That second half of the wide receiver room. So, let's take a look at some of the guys who are we're trying to keep track of here. Maybe a David Sills, Casey Washington. Do you think any of these guys have a chance to make the team and maybe knock some of these veterans off the depth chart here? Again, so in terms of the most impressive guys, like I was high on, I was high on Nick Nash when Nash first came on the scene, but looks like he hasn't had a whole lot going on in terms of the preseason. I was also high on Joshua Simon as well, and also have not seen him do much in terms of production when he's been on the field. So again, like out of the bunch right now, you'd have to start looking at Casey Washington. You'd have to look at Chris Blair. You also have to kind of give a small look at David Sills too, because David Sills has had a nice camp. And those are your guys who really have a chance. I mean, Dylan Drummond as well has had a nice couple of games. Just only a 1 or 2 spots maybe for some of these guys, because you got to really pencil in. You're penciling in Mooney, you're penciling in Drake London, you're penciling in Ray McLeod, Daryl Hodge, and Jamal Agnew. So there's 5 right there. So again, there's really only like 1, maybe 2 spots. And, for me, I may look at, for that spot, it's either going to go Chris Blair or Casey Washington. I just don't know right now which of the two would get it. But I think those two are the leaders in the clubhouse to make the team. Everybody else, including DJ Shark, would be candidates for the practice squad or just being outright let go. I just don't know because it's been such a competitive, position to watch. Those wideouts have done a really nice job, and Easton Stick has done a good job getting those guys the ball as well. Jalen Walker was held out of Friday's game due to some groin tightness, an ailment, an injury, however you want to call it. Raheem had spoke about that after the game on Friday night. He was asked about Jalen's injury, and Jalen basically, it seems like it's more of a precautionary thing. But again, what Raheem had to say about it was that Jalen, he said, the quote was, he kind of hurt himself a little, tweaked his groin a little bit on that last play that he was in on joint practices against the Titans. So we held him Friday night. Looking forward to getting him out there and getting him back out there next week. So again, sounds like not a big deal coming from Raheem Morris, because he said that he feels like Jalen should be back out on the practice field this week. What speed will he be at? Will he be at half speed, full speed? Will he be off to the side doing work on his own? What's the status of Jalen Walker? Hopefully we'll find some more clarity on that this afternoon. That's the hope, and we'll see where things stand with that. But, we will say this, James Pierce had a really nice preseason so far. The first two games he's had pressure, he's looked fast, and, has not got home with a sack yet. But again, the potential's there, and you can see the wheels starting to turn. You can see things starting to push in the right direction, because I saw 27 coming off the edge, and he was looking fast. And look at his body was under control when he was making some of his moves. Again, didn't get home on some sacks. I think I will give him credit for affecting and causing the interception that we saw on Friday against the Titans. He did get in there and put some hands on the quarterback to where Natron Brooks got the pick. So, when Walker comes back, it's, I would love to see 11 and 27 out there again, maybe Friday night against the Cowboys. Don't know if they'll do it, but, get these guys as many reps as they possibly can. Doesn't hurt them too much to get some of that real game experience before they have to step on the field against the Bucs next week, or in about 2 weeks, that is. I'm too excited. I'm getting the days mixed up. It's August 18th. We've still got a couple of weeks to go before we get to week 1. But, it's going to be here before you know it. So, again, any bowl predictions, anything on your mind, let me know exactly what it is. Sound off in the comments. Give me some predictions for the roster. Anybody you think is going to get cut. Do you think we're going to trade Kirk Cousins before week 1? Do you think, you got any surprises? Who's going to start maybe at, on the offensive line, the defensive line? Offensive line pretty much sewed up. But do you think anyone can start on the defensive line that is unexpected? Has James Pierce worked himself into a starting role over Ebiketie? Tell me, how you feel about that. But again, also while you're doing that, make sure you hit the subscribe button on this platform here, and make sure that you have the notifications on as well. CRAIG, the letter G, and the word sports is how you can follow me, Craig G Sports. And if you want to follow FanArch, you can follow them. They're up in the top left corner, FANARCHCO. That is how you can find them on all the social medias. We'll be back tomorrow with more Falcons Daily. Enjoy your Monday. Let's get off to a great start this week. And as we get closer to game week, we'll start breaking things down even further. So until then, we'll talk to you tomorrow. Sayonara and buenos noches.